Well, I was lucky enough to actually find some time to zip down to Melbourne. So I drove the ute down, spent a couple of days checking out some unbelievable cars in Melbourne. And Louise has put all that together and put the music to it. And I was just about to do the voiceover, and Dale's turned up. How are you, Dale?
You had the light on. I thought I'd drop in.
Well, it was good timing because I was going to sit down and do this. So it's so much better when you can actually talk to someone about what you're looking at. So this show, it's a bit like the old hot rod shows, but it's Showcars Melbourne Showdown 12. So obviously it's been going for a long time, and I've missed the boat because it's the first time I've been.
Yeah, there's so many shows now, isn't there?
It is, and these guys, the guy that runs it's name's Elvis, and I think that's fairly fitting.
Yep.
Of being a car show promoter. And what he does is he pulls together a lot of the elite and top end cars, and there's two levels at Moonee Valley Racecourse. And of course the one we're looking at now is the ute that had a rebirth and was turned up at Summernats this year, and it's doing very, very well. And I've got a lot of footage here now because it's all white, but there's so much to see.
Yeah, it's spectacularly done.
And the use of colour, what there is on it, is also good with the greys and the bronze and some of the similar colours we've used on our car. But he's got a ticket to Motorex at this show as well, so that's pretty cool. And the amount of work that's been done, and I think this might be the third version. Check out that seat, Dale, if you've seen that. So
it looks
fixed,
really cool, doesn't it?
It's fixed to the backing. You know, it's mounted to the upright, if you like, and it looks like it's levitating, and it's got the LEDs and stuff under it. So I must have been enjoying it because I got fairly fixated by the look of the amount of footages on it. So
I like the fact that it's still a 6-cylinder. It's good to be different.
It's got a pretty big supercharger sitting on it as well.
It's not your average 6-cylinder.
No. So it's quite unusual from the point of view as it's actually got no side glass.
No.
And no door rubbers. So it's a genuine show car.
Yep.
And it was built that way. And when that was built back at that time, Gary Myers' double blown one was done the same way.
Okay.
So we're going to work through some more now. So these photos or these videos were done like 11 o'clock at night, so there was no crowd there. So if you're looking at it going, wow, there's nobody there, it's because I've grabbed the opportunity to get some footage and people are just sort of finishing up what they're doing, setting the cars up and cleaning. So it's a good opportunity to get it because you'll see later on some of the other cars on battling with the crowd to try and get the footage. Check out that engine block, the colour of that. So it's been matched up to the trim.
Yeah, that's a different look, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd noticed Kindig does that a bit. So whether they've seen that on his show and gone, that's a good idea, we'll give that a go.
It certainly ties it in. Very
nice trim. So there was quite a few of the top 10 cars from the Nats there, like that blue Commodore. And I'm not sure whether I got back over and videoed that because it's really, I'm trying to go up and down and get the focus. And that car there, that got a ticket to Motorex as well. And like now with the bonnet down on this one, because it's 11 o'clock at night, some of the people put covers on, close the doors and the bonnet down, but I did go back to a lot of them and try and get that, but it took me about 10 hours to film enough stuff to get enough video footage to probably make 2 1-hour videos of the show. Now check this one out. I actually had the opportunity to catch up with Rob Herod on Sunday, and went around. I took him and showed him this car. So that's a BF, so that's the same model as my ute, and it looks brand new.
Yes.
Had the brochures and all the bits and pieces with it and all that sort of stuff. And then quite a lot of Monaros and Commodores the same that are really well maintained or restored, late model. It's a bit of a trend now, I think.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if that grabs your fancy, being a Holden man there, Dale.
Yeah, my best mate's mum had a HZ GDS, and they called it a Monaro, 4-door, 308, 4-speed.
Did they have a 4-door Monaro?
They called it a Monaro on the front guard. They had a Monaro badge, but it wasn't. To my thinking, it wasn't a Monaro, but maybe they had some leftover badges. But I'll be corrected on that, I'm sure. But we did a lot of miles in a car exactly the same colour scheme and style as that.
So there's a couple of hundred cars inside,
Okay.
and I've got most of them. So this one here, it's another one of these Barras, the turbo.
Yep.
And you'll see here it's got the nitrous in the boot, so I thought I'd better investigate. So it's got the full cage happening. And then when we get round the front, I dare say it's probably a minimum of 1,000. It seems to be the go nowadays. It's got the shifter all mounted up in the original console.
It looked a bit bare bones in the boot, but there's a lot going up at the front end.
Yeah. Well, I think it might have been a bit of weight deficiency they were looking for there. It's definitely become a thing, these Barras. Look at the size of that turbo.
That is huge.
Macon Power number plate.
I'm sure there'd be some serious killer wasps coming out of that.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, this is a nice looking Torana. So my lads Lee always wanted one of them.
Yep.
But
This is a husband and wife.
Probably.
I think one has an LJ. I think the wife has the LJ. I think we saw these up in Sydney. But beautifully presented, and the classic hot wires and A9X flares, and they were the duck's guts in the mid 70s.
my neighbour had a SLR 5000. But he probably still got it actually.
Yep.
He was a couple of doors up and he restored it. And that would have been when I was around the time I was doing the Rock 3, so 1990ish. Now here's another one of these, like a HSV that is just mint. Absolutely perfect. So it was 2 or 3 in a row actually.
Yeah, the standard of presentation and workmanship is amazing. They even cleat inside a filler cap, isn't that good to see?
This is good music now. So I don't know me Commodores well enough, but that looks like a big dog to me, that one.
Yeah, that's one of the last, I believe. But it's got some serious, probably an LS7 or something massive in there. Unusual colour, quite like that. Not your typical yellow.
Now I was having a bit of a yarn with the guy with this Charger, so only a youngish guy, and it had a little bit of a smudge above the door handle, and I said to him, "You missed a bit, mate," and he goes, "Oh, it's in the paint, I don't know how to fix it." He said, "The paint's 20 years old."
Wow.
And he bought it, I don't know that it was a shed find, but it was an older restoration, and he's been working away cleaning it up, and he's doing a really good job because it looked really sharp and just like a nice classic muscle car. And these things of course were as quick as a Phase 3.
Yes, definitely.
With the Webers and the side draft Webers and all that. Now this is one of those I'll have every accessories cars. See the little side covers and the flutes and the mirrors, and it blew me away. It must have spent a lot of time collecting. You have a look on the front of it, all the nostalgic badges and the old spotties and that bit of bronze. Incredible.
I think he's sponsored by Brasso.
There's something for everyone, isn't there?
Yep, definitely.
It looks a bit like Dave's car. Is that the same model as Dave's?
No, I think that's before. That's the model before.
Oh, that's a
VL,
VN, is it? Or a
VL, that one. I think Dave's a little bit later.
Still a Holden motor too, mate. There you go, VL. 96.
This is more your
I
era. You
might know
these
what some of
parts.
these are, yeah.
And the red walls.
Very tidy. Nice red pepper. XAU.
That was what you wanted, wasn't it? A red pepper
Red
four-door?
Red pepper 4-door black trim.
Yep.
I've moved on now, so green panel van.
You worked out you weren't going to get a red pepper 4-door. There's so much difference being able to film when there's not a crowd around.
Oh yeah, and I mean this car here, the bonnet was up. I don't know if I got back to get a photo of it the next day, but Ronnie Barclay was judging there. He said, "Yeah, go and have a look at that bloody burgundy thing. That's a nice looking car," and it was. And I mean they're all nice. It just keeps going and going and going. And as you can see, this is on the second level.
Okay.
And you actually go up the escalator.
Yep.
And the escalator opens up and it's just all cars.
Wow.
And it's like all the betting arenas and that normally.
Yep. I owned a couple of VHs. They were always good fun for an old car.
I was talking to the gentleman there with his son. He was explaining to me. They watched the channel and so, hello.
There you go. Yeah.
Hello.
It's electric green, that one. Over the radiator.
Yep, cold air intake.
Intake, yep.
So they don't seem to worry about putting nothing under the tyres or, you know, drips for oil or nothing. Just park them all up on the carpet.
Drip oil, would they?
No.
The Skyline,
There you go, mate.
R31, I believe.
So in Broken Hill, there was Brian Slater had one of those, and Brian was a very big car enthusiast in Broken Hill, and he had a brand new one of those. Hello, Brian, if you're watching.
A classic Camaro. Left hooker.
Yeah. Check out the seatbelts. Good for headbutting the steering wheel.
You have strong core. You want to have. Hard to believe there is, you know.
Yeah, check this one out now.
Ooh, it's an
So
RT.
I've got to wait till it gets to the sign to read it to tell you exactly what it is, but it's a very, very big Hemi.
Yes.
And I can tell you that Rob Herod was pretty taken with this car.
Yeah, they're.
It's very nice. I know I go back to the board and because I knew I'd want to remember what it was. Piece of art, isn't it?
Yep. It's a massive engine.
1969 Dodge Charger, there you go, with a 528 Hemi. Talk flight.
And a Dana diff. They were in trucks. They were as strong a diff as you could get, I believe.
I always say to people that put cars on checkered mat, are very brave.
Yes, you want to be confident.
Definitely highlights your bodywork.
Yes.
And this was no slouch. Look at that beautiful reflection.
It's a similar colour to my old Monaro. Yeah, I might tear up now. Oh look, there's a 60.
It's another red Mustang.
Another red Mustang, Howard. That would be a 60. I'm going to say 66.
I'll have to wait till I get on
there
the
it is.
side
It's on the
to
sign. It's on the sign.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
Oh, you cheated.
I cheated. I went early.
A little bit of dish on the back.
Yep.
Check out the fuel filler. That took me in. Look at that.
Wow.
Eh?
That's where you just hook the tanker up, is it? Open the valve and.
Pretty full on. I don't know what's going on there.
Oh, Capri. Strike me pink.
With a big Chevy in it. There's been plenty of those chopped up over the years because of the size of the engine bay.
Yes.
You can fit almost anything in there.
I saw what you mean about the checkers.
So you'll see in here there's a couple of unveiled cars in here, so I had to come back and get them the next day. So when Louise has done the edit, she probably wouldn't be aware of that. Now this was one of those, there was quite a few. Remember I spoke to you in about 400 about having a new car rather than a restored car.
Yes.
There was a couple of very good cars at this event that looked new. And this one just reminded me, there's a couple down in there was one particular room that had all GT Fords in it, and there was a couple in there that were stunning cars, and this is a very, very nice car as well.
And as we said, I think it's a bit harder thing to pull off.
Oh, for sure.
It's easy to fix what the factory got wrong.
I mean, they're what, 50 odd years old now, so some of the reproduction stuff's good. Now this was fairly unique as well. It had a gold trim in it.
Oh, okay.
So it looks very green. I guess it's a green gold, but it is actually a factory colour.
Okay.
But there wasn't a lot of them.
Yeah, there wouldn't have been many around.
Now this little Cortina's had the Barra.
TE Cortina.
Yeah, it had the Barra. So we were having the discussion. I was having the discussion. Ronnie said to me, "What model would this be, Howard?" And I was going, "I reckon probably a 78." And someone come up and conferred that was probably the year.
Well, they came factory with a 250 6-cylinder.
So they were on the lot.
Yep.
When I was selling Fords.
Okay.
Yeah, they were brand new. So
it was my wife's first car, believe it or not.
And the console I had in my panel van was out of one of these.
Ah, there you go.
The centre console.
Yeah, well, you know,
so there's a bit of history.
All the spare parts you knew.
So they were a very quick car. They had a 250, the old 250 2V,
Yep. It wasn't a lot of weight compared to the Falcon.
There was the original 250, then they went to Crossflow, and of course now the Barra's a totally different thing. Look at the bodywork on this reverse cowl.
That looks like glass.
That's why it got the close up, because I looked at it and went, wow, that's unbelievable.
That's what I think of when you say the word flow code.
Now, I don't know, Dale, whether you was a lover of these things.
No, I got to say, being a Holden man, I wasn't particularly fond of these. I got a lot of respect for them. But
check out the wheels.
The 3-spoke wheel didn't really do it for me, but
there's just a lot of things on it that was only ever done on that model, I think, and it was certainly out there. Check out the trim. But I mean, that's just another one of those cars that you wonder how someone's managed to put that back into that condition.
Yes, for sure.
Or it stayed in that condition.
Yeah.
There's a few hot rodded ones here now, so running the 20s.
All motor. No, I can see that.
That's the same as Dave's, I know that, because I picked the grill. And I think this is very tastefully done. It sits nice. The wheels don't look overly done. Sometimes the 20s on them look a bit much. And I think that car has a really nice stance and feel about it. They look good under the lights there, don't they?
Yeah, I had to keep those white wheels clean.
We'll just throw a little GDR in amongst
them. A little Godzilla, yeah.
Next to some heavy hitters from the US.
So that's a SS Chevelle, I believe, is it?
I'm waiting for the sign, Dar.
Oh, you're waiting for the sign. But it looks like, you close one eye, it looks like a HQ print.
It's a Chevelle.
There you go. So I know boats.
Yep. I think I'll go back to the sign. There we go. It's an SS.
Yep. 1970, 72.
You'll have to pause that if you want to find out what it is. And then a GTO right next to it.
Pontiac.
With a very large engine.
I had a model of them, the Judge. It's a GTO Pontiac.
Yeah, okay. Is that the car that was in Vanishing Point, the movie?
Could have been.
The white one? Someone will tell me.
Yeah. It's good to throw the wrong information out and
find out if comments in.
Yeah, if people know it. Listen to these two Muppets, they don't know what they're talking about.
Quite like the way they did the pin line and the trim on that. I was struggling to get back far enough a lot of times because everything was, there were so many cars in there. It's hard to get them all in.
XE or XT, Howard?
I missed the front. Didn't see.
I'm going to
say an E.
I'm going to say an E.
Yeah, it looks like an E. and it's got all the aftermarket gauges in the original dash. So these have become, you know, the new car to have, really. I mean, I guess as we all get older and the cars get older, you know, we keep moving down the line. Looking at that grille, Dale, I'd say it's an E.
Yep.
And it's definitely had a lot of work done.
It sure has. Good colour too. They're a big car. But then again, they're the same as the...
I had a brand new 86 Fairlane, 6-cylinder. Now check out the paintwork and the mounted pin line. We talked about the Cobra with all the lines.
Yes.
This thing is amazing, and I got a little bit focused because always said to me, that car, Dad, what's the go? I go, have a look at the pin lines, look all the way around. Now, I don't know whether that was factory or someone's, you know, there was a limited edition or someone's just gone over the top, because...
I don't remember them with that many pin lines.
Me
I
neither.
remember them with the big, you know...
but it was done. Look at the paint.
It's awesome, isn't it?
Unbelievable.
And it's not just, you know, one line. It's a double.
It's a double line, pin line, beautiful trim, and the depth of the car.
Look, even around the mirrors.
Yeah, everywhere.
Wow.
And I was trying to get the footage without the lights because there's such big lights above. Now you might remember this one from Motorex style.
I do believe...
I think these two cars side by side at Motorex are probably mates.
I do believe we spoke with the owner about this car.
That's right. So it's what I class as a Delete Stripe GT.
Yep.
And I think I might have said then I wasn't sure it was a GT or a Falcon or whatever, but anyhow, it's a very nice car. And all the GT options, but no stripes.
You've got to have a Venetian in the rear window, looks the
And
part.
then it looks a bit orange looking at it there, but it was definitely red pepper.
Yep.
With a white trim. I said to Heather the other day about putting white trim in the van. She said, "You what?" I went, "Oh, well, I was thinking about it."
Yeah, he didn't say you had to clean it, Heather. Howard will clean it.
Very nice.
It's classic, isn't it? Even for a Holden man, it's a classic. I really like that model.
Not as classic as that though, Dale.
55 Chev.
With a 454. Probably a bit bigger than that. Well, look at that.
Yeah. Pillarless.
All the ornamentation.
Black car done well. Looks very nice.
Pearl steering wheel. I don't even know if I noticed that. It's interesting when you're doing the video. You're trying to get everything in and stay in focus and everything else.
Yep.
You miss a lot until you go back and watch it.
Yeah, that's a good thing with you can come back and watch some videos on YouTube. Now it's not the Kingswood.
Right.
It's the Premiere. Now, I'm not sure if it's a H. I think it's a Z.
Looks like a Z to me, but I don't know.
Or it could be an X,
what I'm talking
but
about.
I can't quite remember from the... Oh, someone
Doesn't matter, really.
No, it's in that era.
Yeah, what about this little buzz box, mate?
An R100 Mazda Capella. It's had a bit of work done.
A little bit.
Factory original.
And the next two were covered up because I seen someone else put some footage up and I don't remember them cars. But the two next to it have got covers on.
Yes.
And I don't know that if I went back, I had to go back to do there was a couple of unveils.
Yep.
But I don't know whether I got over to the other two rotors. I needed my minder with me to tell me where I've been and hadn't been.
Yes, it's hard to stay focused and remember everything that you've
and
walked
people
past.
want to say hello, and,
Yeah.
and if you're seeing new things that you haven't seen before.
Is this the Parisian? Not Chevy Impala, is it?
I'm not going to comment.
No. It's a Chev.
I always said I don't really want to sit down and tell everybody, oh, there's an XY, there's an XA. Check out the pin lines and all on this.
Wow.
Now, this is the sort of thing my dad was into.
It's
All
coach
these sort of
building,
20s, 20s and 30s era.
Yep.
And then somewhere for your luggage rack, mate, to put all your luggage on.
At least they don't have the dicky seat sitting out in the weather. That's good. You've got a bit of coverage for the passengers.
And then the one next to it is bagged.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Yep.
be bagged because it looks like pumps, hydraulics.
Yep.
And check out that back bumper. There was a lot going on with this car, I can tell
Chrome
you.
fest. Unusual colour, isn't it?
It is.
Expecting the gangster to jump out of the door any moment with his
Yeah, the suicide door with his machine gun.
Thompson machine gun.
Yep. And that got right in there.
Side runners.
It's obviously very hard to see where the front guard is.
Yeah.
The paintwork and bodywork on this car was very good, and if you imagine trying to block out that bonnet,
Oh,
so it's got all the curves, but then it's in pieces.
yes.
And I was very much taken by the quality of the body and paint on that car. Styling,
It's a Buick.
late 50s, early 60s, I imagine.
Two-tone was pretty cool.
It's funny enough, a couple of cars I've been going to do a two-tone on, and you really have to have a car that has a line that lets you do it.
Yeah, very much so.
Tailspin was always going to be two-tone, but we couldn't really find a line that would work.
Especially when we'd created so many of the parts to...
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some cars are made for it,
Yes.
and others aren't. You know, like the FC, like Fitzy's. You know,
Yep.
when he did the blue and white and all,
Yep.
they were made for it.
Absolutely.
You know, that sort
Yep.
of late
Yep.
50s,
Yep.
early 60s.
Thunderbird. I'm waiting for Miss Penelope from the Thunderbirds show to come out of there.
The two birds.
No, the TV show, Howard.
Ah, okay, wrong one.
I'm going back to my childhood now.
Now, there's something unusual. I think this was wrapped. And there was something unusual about the wrap. I'm going in for a close-up.
It looks like brushed
Can't quite
aluminium.
see what it was. Yeah, but it was definitely wrapped, but it had
Yep.
some sort of look about it that I can't recall now. It's only 2 days ago. So the shift
The Cobra.
got the Cobra. A couple more nice GTs.
Silver Fox. That's a great colour name, isn't it?
I've still got a little bit of work to do with my cinematography, Dale. I've got to lift the camera a bit more. I keep cutting the roof off. He always said to me, Dad, you lift the camera up. And I've gone, but I'm trying to look at all the little things. When I
Yes.
look at a car, I look at, the front bumper and the
Yes.
side, and then I look at the whole car, and I guess that's how I'm filming it. So I'm trying to work out, and then I go up.
And you're also looking through a relatively small screen, so
True, but I mean, it
makes it a bit tricky.
I'm trying. Now have a look at this. This looked black, and as soon as I turned around and put the light, because the light's on the camera,
Okay, yep.
it's blue
With a black bonnet
with a
and the
black light.
pinstripe.
But it's there was a couple of special order blues, and I would think it's one of those. There's Rothman's blue, and I think there's a really dark metallic blue.
Yep.
So someone can probably come on and tell me if they know what colour it is, because I am curious to what that was.
I bought an EH off a mate, and it was painted in a Honda colour that was very similar. It was called Windsor Blue, and it was almost black.
It's a good Ford name. No?
Oh, that's what it reminded me of.
Of course, we're in Melbourne, so a lot of Fords in Melbourne. Or a lot of everything, probably. I was going to say there's something going on under here as well.
Yeah, it's not a 149 grey motor.
No. If you're towing for work or play, make sure your vehicle's up to the task. Your gross vehicle mass can be upgraded to keep everything legal and above board. Find your nearest stockist at lovellsauto.com.au and talk to the professionals about getting your vehicle right for the job. So don't forget, Dale, you've got to upgrade that buddy tow vehicle.
Yes.
Make sure it's still on the job. So this had a lot special paint, big wheels, and then you'll see in a minute when we stick our head in the door, the trim.
Oh, that is
It'll,
a bit going on there.
I reckon.
It's a honeycomb stitching or something, is it?
Yeah, it's a computerised thing they're doing now.
Okay.
There's a fair bit of it there, but this one, the white on the black really stood out.
It's a nifty idea with the...
And I talked over there's a really nice XY and the Harley before that. Now, this one is a genuine survivor. Have a look in this engine bay. Ridgy Didge.
That's how they were. HG.
So what's that, 69 or something?
70.
70, so...
Late 69, early 70.
What were we saying earlier, 50 years old.
Yep.
Now, this was a little family affair going on, and they rushed around and shut the boot and stuff for me, but it felt to me, I didn't have a chance to have it talk to him, but it felt to me a bit like Dad was there, a bit older than me, and then I think the son and maybe even the grandson, so it was definitely a family affair going on. And it's got the original cloth insert trim in it.
Oh, okay, yep.
So that was a special order back in the day. In the 70s.
That's when you didn't want to burn your ass on the vinyl seat.
And then,
you get
I don't know if you've seen one, Dale. I don't know whether this is an original, and I dare say it is looking at the car. You could order that rear window,
the louvered
rear window, and it bolted on. So they drilled holes in the roof to fit it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we used to sell them when I worked in spare parts.
I had the Olga.
See how nice that boot shut?
It did shut well. It's unusual.
A very nice car. And like I said, the family were into it.
Yep.
A bit like those guys we spoke to at when we went up to Sydney.
Yes.
For the Men's Health Day. It's like Darren's old one.
GTP.
The one before the one before.
It's BA, isn't it, that one? Something like that?
Yeah.
I'm slowly being converted,
I'm
folks.
just waiting
I'm
for it to
remembering what some of my Ford models
coming
are.
around the front to see. BF. Yeah, he's a bit of a go faster. This guy had a chat to him too. He was, I think he said he painted it. It had been painted 10 years, and he drives it, regular weekends. Like a weekend car, obviously, but it does get use. And he has a lot of pride in the fact that it gets used and still looks good. He obviously spends a lot of time looking after it.
The Calais Turbo didn't quite look that good when it came out of the factory.
That's why it took me so long now to get around and film, because I did a lot of talking as well.
Yep.
Nice blue four-door. Traditional centre lines, I like that look. That's a very Adelaide look, very South Australian.
Yep.
They were big in South
They were
Australia.
big, weren't they? Oh, braided lines.
Yeah, and a very high manifold. What's this sneaking into view now, Dale?
This is a 427. 427. Can't remember what the model is.
That's right. I didn't expect you to know.
No, it's
a classic 60s car.
It's definitely a mid 60s car. Number plate says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I'm hoping we've talked Fuzz into bringing his ute back to the Summernats this year.
Yeah, it'd be good to have it there, Fuzz. Come on.
Yeah, so
no excuses, mate.
Well, apparently the young blokes have said to him, you said on camera with Howard that you'll be there with it this year. So, So the reason I mention it, of course, he's got one, an XW with a nice 500 horse Clevo in it, in Wild Violet. That was a very nice ute. That. Now this would be right up your alley, Dale.
This is a bit of me, the old Ovlov.
But it's had a little bit of
it's had
massaging,
bit of love,
and really well done.
It's quite a bit of engineering in there. They do accept the V8 quite easily in the engine bay of a 240 series Volvo, and the GT was the two-door version.
Like the bowling green theme.
Yes. I hope there's a hat on the parcel shelf.
The trim, I like the fitting trim.
Yep.
And then it's a two-door.
Yes, the GT was a two-door. 242. My father used to sell Volvos, believe it or not.
Really? There you go. See, I learned something every
day. And he said they were always good for top end, but they took a while to get there. So they would cruise very well.
So we'll just spin around. And I apologise for the focus because our camera doesn't seem to like the matte wraps because it seems to can't pick up a line to get its focus off of.
It's an unusual colour.
Very much so. Oh, there it goes.
It looks like golf club colour on golf clubs that we've been selling, the previous couple of models, the old tailor-made sim driver, the little aluminium backweight.
Yep.
Is similar look to that.
Similar colour.
Yeah. Looks good.
Nice Huey.
And that's what I always wanted, was a four-door HQ with a single headlight front end.
Yeah?
Yep.
Well, that's pretty much what Joel's building. So Joel's one of my neighbour's mates, Dave, the next door neighbour, his mate, has been doing one, and I'll put it out there to Joel because he's probably watching this year, Joel.
Yeah, Joel.
This year, mate.
Extract your finger.
I've always liked these little Cortinas. I'm a bit big for one of them though.
A Lotus Cortina.
Physically.
Yep.
And there's a bit of go fast going on here by the look of the rear tyre.
Yes.
I don't know what else was happening, but it had plenty of tyre under it. And then Rob and I were sort of talking about the same thing as how do these sort of cars end up in this condition. So this one here, so it's obviously a very nice Falcon, but next to it there's a run of police pursuit cars.
Yep.
And you sort of say to yourself, how does this happen? How does one end up not, they don't all end up on the tip,
Yep.
basically. Like that.
I would recognise that sort of vehicle if I looked in my rear view mirror, because I was always keeping an eye out for them.
No, you're an old grandma. So.
I didn't have a fast as car as you, so I had to be careful.
I've got a story I could tell about that, but
No.
it's a fairly long story.
You don't want to incriminate yourself, really. Oh, that's nice, isn't
That's
it?
clean, isn't it?
Hey.
That sort of reminds me, except it was at HZ, and I was down in Victoria. We'd been to a van show, and I'm tripping along at about 160, and I looked in the. We only had the two side mirrors.
Yeah.
We had the stereo cranking, and I looked in the side mirrors, and spotted this HZ that was basically all over the road behind me, and it was a cop car. And I pulled over, and the guy goes, "Didn't you see me?" I said, "No, mate, it's a panel van." And he goes, "Well, surely you would have heard the siren." I said, "No, mate, we had the stereo turned up." "I've been chasing you for 10 mile, he says.
Yeah.
So I lost my licence for 3 months in Victoria, which really didn't matter much because I lived in New South Wales. Those were the days, Dale, where
Yes.
they weren't all linked.
No.
Sorry for all those people that own the cars we just missed and didn't talk about, but some really nice clean Commodores there.
It's a T-Bird, Howard, isn't it?
It's a very, very nice car. You get around the back, we'll find out maybe exactly what it is.
Thunderbird.
It's a Thunderbird, but look at that drop-on piece on the top there. So that would probably go up and the convert would come out.
Yep.
Beautiful car.
Lovely colour combo too.
Now, this really, I had to go back a couple of times and look at this. I don't know in what category they would race, but the engineering and just the presence of this bike was unbelievable. And the use of colour.
Yep. It's superbike type size category, not.
But I like to look at this sort of thing because it gives me ideas for when I'm playing cars.
Yeah. Yep.
And right next to it, so we've just gone from one to the other. So we're back downstairs now. So I've gone, obviously from up the top and back down because they had music and all playing. I was hoping to mic up and do the commentary while I was filming, but and it was a good opportunity to get a picture of that car with the bonnet down because in the morning when I come back it was up.
Yep.
Now, you remember this from MotorX?
I do.
Was sitting outside, but what I didn't pick up then was how much they pumped the back guards.
That shot does.
But when I looked at it the next day, it really wasn't visible. It was just the light must have been accentuating it that it picked it up. This car's had a lot of little subtle changes made to it. And right next door, there's some very large wheels.
Yes. And a big bathtub in the back.
Yeah.
There's some dish on that.
Extremely well presented car. It's a little bit hard to try and you can see me going in and out with the camera. I'm just trying to get it, to really look the best.
Yep.
And then all of the openings in the bonnet. I don't know what they had factory, but it was very well
Again,
done.
I mean that was sort of homologated for the race cars, for the Group A racing and all that sort of stuff. So
there's only a handful of bikes, but the ones that were there were pretty special. I really like these couple of Indians. Clever use of paint.
yep.
The helmet, check that out, though.
Wow.
Bit of flake going on.
Not a lot of suspension or comfort
Now look
in
at
that
it. Well, I was
seat.
just going to say, check out the front spring.
Yeah.
It's like half a leaf spring.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it's a leaf spring. Imagine that would have been a handful to ride.
Oh, I suppose they didn't have dentures back in those days either, so you wouldn't have to worry about them falling out.
I'm not even going to try and read that one, but you'll have to freeze frame that if you want to read all about it.
Yeah. I'm not sure that said 34 or 54. It's a long time ago.
And here's the man from Malta. Ghost imaging and all in the paint. So they had a little stand and all selling t-shirts and all, so I'm not quite sure what the deal was, but it was pretty full on.
Yep.
So now looks like we're going to get into some of the Showcars stuff. So these were all in that foyer.
Yep.
So this car's been around a little while now, and it's had a couple of sort of upgrades and been a very successful car.
The trumpets.
Yeah. Extremely good use of colour again.
Yeah. Just ties in so well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Three colours in the trim and
So once again, if you didn't hear earlier, I've shot this late at night. That's why there's very few people there. And some of the other stuff you'll see in the next video is when the crowd's in. And there was lots of people there. It was a really, really good show. So this is a Gurney Eagle-headed Windsor.
Okay.
So it was an aftermarket thing done
so it looked like
for
a race
Indy,
motor.
I believe. Yeah,
Yep.
in the late 60s. It's funny how we go through phases, isn't it? Look, these B-lock wheels now are the flavour of the month. Sort of taken over from Simmons a bit.
Yep.
Might be able to go, yeah, bud. Well wheels.
Everything seems to go in cycles, doesn't it?
It does. Very hard. Oh, black trim, I've got my light on, so I've got to see a bit more, but it's really hard to, when the windows are up especially, to be able to bring people to trim, because we like to get in there and here we go. They had a classic steering wheel, those. See how the size of the centre on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, here's a bit more for you.
I know. HT.
Now, if I want to point anything at it at all, check out the size of the carburetor on this car. It was massive.
It's like a dinner plate.
I don't know exactly how big it was, but
That would have to be over 1,000 cc.
Oh yeah, it was in the Dominator range, but
Yep.
it was huge. It's nearly as long as the manifold. Very special car, that one.
57 Chev.
Now, you filmed this one at MotorX. This was in the trade pavilion.
Yes,
Remember
I do remember this.
Yeah.
I do remember this.
So red on red.
I'm a big fan of the old Running on Empty movie, and this is a red version of the blown 57 Chev.
And a lot of everything on this car.
A lot going on. You get a sore neck driving that because you'd be trying to look around the engine.
And I tell you what, it is quite difficult when I had the Pioneer Coupe driving around some of that. So I went back to this car. It was earlier, but the lights weren't on. And being the dark colour, I couldn't sort of see how the colour really pops.
So it's like a chocolatey.
Yeah, with a burgundy.
Burgundy.
It must have been a
combo, isn't it?
Some sort of dark candy over a lighter base. And the lights weren't on when I filmed it at night, so I sort of got back in and did it, and obviously it had a lot of undercarriage detail as well.
Got to work hard there. You got to make the top of the muffler and the bottom of the muffler look good.
So on the day of the show, I sort of was wandering around with my camera to work out what I hadn't filmed. Now, people often say to me, what grabbed your eye at the show? This grabbed my eye. And normally I say, whatever. Yep. The build quality on this was superb. And since I've been home, I read something on, I think, Street Machine page that the guy built it at home.
Wow.
And the innovation, and people talk about, attention to detail. I've heard it so many times from myself. But this truck has got so many little things, the pin lines, the detail in here. If you look straight across past the steering wheel on the other side, that's the inside of the wheel arch. All those little handmade bits and pieces. Was phenomenal, and you'll see in a minute we drop down here now to the bottom of this seat and look at the amount of work.
Oh my goodness.
It really was something special to look at and take in. And like I said, I did spend a little bit of time with Rob Herod looking around. I took him up and showed him because it's a Ford with a Ford. Yep. And he was pretty excited about it as well, and I said to him, I've only been to SEMA once. I went in 2019. This car would be a standout at SEMA.
Absolutely. And the Americans go absolutely nuts for these cab over.
Yeah, but I mean
vehicles.
The quality of the build.
But the quality is standout.
Now, if you have a look up the front of the tray here, so you got the timber flag. There's a toolbox up there with all of the stuff on it as well.
Yep.
And then when I go up here, have a look at the bracing and all under that.
Yeah, you don't have to build one brace. You've got to build you got about 5 braces that all.
I dare say it was done on the machine. So the complexity of the build really was outstanding, and then the little finishing touches. If you have a look here, look at the timber, and then the inlay. And I don't know whether it was a timber or a brass or just paint, but every little component had that extra bit done to it. It was really incredible. Look at these side flutes.
Wow.
And then even the steel wheels look right. You know what I mean?
Very much.
The colour coordination of it. Yeah, just a very special vehicle.
And there's probably a lot of people would just walk past that and think, I'm not really into trucks or whatever. But if you took the time to stop and look at something like that, you would really appreciate that work.
Yeah, and hard for me to make a comment on it because it just stopped me in my tracks basically.
Yeah.
And just everywhere you looked. And look at the flat paint, how I am about all that sort of stuff. And then I love this sort of...
the scrolls. And
the scrolls.
Yep.
As Adam used to say, that hillbilly stuff.
Yeah. Good on you, Adam.
And then I couldn't get into the camera in there. It being cab over, it's got a little very strong Windsor tucked up under there, the dart block and all the different bits and pieces. Yeah, very nice build. So I don't know what the undercarriage is like. If the undercarriage is like the top, that there, it was, potentially Superstars.
Yep.
And then right next door is something totally different.
Yeah, we've gone one extreme to the other.
I mean, it's almost unfortunate they were side by side because they both deserved to be stuck somewhere that they took the room over, because this was a stunning build as well, but on a totally different theme. And you know what I'm like with a bit of timber, I'm not very good at it, but I appreciate someone doing good things with timber. And there's a cool timber surfboard on the roof.
Yeah. That'd be a mal on the roof. Got to keep with the theme.
It might not be timber, but it's timber look.
Maui Jim.
So these were probably a couple of the later ones that I'd done, that I filmed, because these were unveil cars. Because I'm trying to think of what's left. Oh, the push bikes.
Yeah.
So they had a few of these up at the Rose Hill show.
Yes.
And the innovation in these is nearly as good as some of the cars, because I was quite taken with the handlebars on this particular one, where they twist the metal like they do with the Harleys, and then it's got the bit between that's opened up, and yeah, very clever. And then airbrush work, and
there's some hours gone into that.
Yep. Family day.
Yeah. And then you got to pedal it yourself.
Look at that frame.
Wow. For sale. There you go. Little lazy 7K. That's a work of art. You couldn't build that for 7K. Even a trike for people that can't stay upright in two wheels.
I was dodging traffic, I think.
Yep.
There was another one over here, so I thought I'd zip over. I don't know what the little basket's for.
I think isn't it a little steering wheel?
It could be.
Because you can't reach the handlebars, they're too far forward.
I think you might be right, Dale.
Something for everyone at these car shows.
And this is old school. Hand grenade?
Yep. Yeah, there's some work gone into these pieces of art. A little bit more than the old Melbourne.
The old Melbourne Star.
Yeah.
So now, I was saying the GTs had their own little hall.
Okay.
So, we'll need to read the sign in a minute. So the GT Club of Victoria.
Yep.
And there was some outstanding restorations in here.
So that was an XR, wasn't it? How was it an XR? We just went past the gold one.
I think you'd be right, Dale.
Only because a mate had one time.
Yep.
I got to drive it. I was very impressed.
I remember one time.
One time.
So we talked earlier about these cars having a bit of a surge.
Yep.
And of course anything that's ESP is becoming very collectible and worth quite a considerable amount of money. So this footage here I've done early on the Sunday morning. So I got over there at 7 and filmed all of the cars that were outside. I filmed them driving in.
Okay.
So they'll be the next video.
Yep.
There's a couple of hundred of those. So I took the opportunity to get in and do these GTs because I couldn't get in there the night before. I was trying to be trendy, with the camera.
I thought you were just showing Darren the sunroof he'd put in.
So this was that little collection of cars I was talking about that it looked like you were in a new car showroom.
Step back in time. Let's go back 50 years and what can we buy?
And a couple in the corner here. So we just got to dodge around the people.
If you just said, I'm going to paint a car purple with an orange pinstripe, people would think you're mad, and then
Yep.
you see it and you go, yeah, that works.
How about these banners? I was pretty impressed with
Yeah.
that. Now this one especially caught my eye for the finish. I sort of was thinking to myself, this is too good, but I think it was more to do with the glass, you know, the trim pieces and all. And,
Yep.
and if you think about it, when they were new, that's probably exactly how it looked.
Hasn't been out and had grime and chips.
Well, I mean,
and,
new glass is new glass.
Yeah.
But I mean, I looked at the car and I just went, this thing looks like a brand new car. Doesn't look restored.
no.
Couple of late model. Someone must have slept in, the one with the cover on it.
Yeah. Might have been out celebrating the night before. It's even got a model on top of the scoop, on top of the shaker there.
There's a bit of that going on at this show. There's quite a few cars with the model of the car with it. There's a couple of coupes / hardtop. I keep getting told off, Dale. They're
Yeah.
not coupes, they're hardtops.
Coops are what you keep a chicken in. I saw someone
Yeah.
made a comment of.
And they were promoted as a hardtop,
Yeah.
but I've always called them a coupe.
Yeah.
I don't know why, I don't know where that started,
Just-
but it was never the Pioneer hardtop.
No, that's true. When you've owned one and
It
you
was
call
only
it
ever the Pioneer coupe.
a Pioneer Coupe, it's hard to break that habit. Little 289 in the old was it an XP or something like that, Howard? I think it was it?
I'm trying to think where they come out with the V8 at all. The American ones had a 260, which was
Okay.
a smaller,
Yep.
like a baby Windsor.
Okay.
So they went 260, 289, 302, and
Right.
then when they brought out the 351, it was a wider engine, bigger one.
Yep.
Have a look at the really nice detail on the back of this. I got a bit carried away with the camera, I think. It's a shame the boot wasn't closed, but the finish on this car was super nice. And we know how hard that is to do that, don't we?
Yes, sure do. It's not a 5-minute job.
Yeah. That won't take long.
Can't be that hard. Someone's done it before.
Very nice Fairlane. We sold a lot of those at the dealership to the guys on the land, the bushies.
Yeah, okay.
Family car, a lot of white ones. It was back in the day when they were making a few bucks, so you could bring one in and trade it in and get the new model.
Yep.
Argent Motors, Crystal Street, Broken Hill. So that's seen us out. So thanks again, Dale.
Yeah, thanks, Howard.
Thanks for dropping in, mate.
Good timing.
Yeah. And thanks to Lovells. And we'll see you with another one on the weekend.
Will do.